The K-1 non-immigrant visa is for people whose fiancés are American citizens. The K-1 visa permits you, the African fiancé, to travel to the United States and marry your U.S. citizen sponsor within 90 days of arrival. After the marriage in the U.S., you will then apply for what we call the adjustment of status to a permanent resident with the Department of Homeland Security and the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Because a fiancé visa permits you to immigrate to the United States and marry a U.S. citizen shortly after you arrive in the United States, the fiancé must meet some of the requirements of an immigrant visa. Eligible children, you have to know, of K-1 visa applicants will receive the K-2 visa for themselves. Under the U.S. immigration law, a foreign citizen or fiancé of a U.S. citizen is the recipient of an approved petition for alien fiancé, that's Form I-129F, who has been issued a non-immigrant K-1 visa for travel to the United States of America in order to marry his or her U.S. citizen fiancé. Both the U.S. citizen and the K-1 visa applicant must have been legally free to marry at the time the petition was filed and must have remained so thereafter. The marriage must be legally possible according to laws of the U.S. state in which the marriage will take place. None of you are married. You must make sure that none of you are married to someone else at the time. Also, none of you should be involved in divorce proceedings at the time that you plan to visit and marry. In general, you and your U.S. citizen sponsor must have met in person within the past 2 years. The American government may grant exception to this requirement based on extreme hardship for you to meet in person, or for example, if it is not allowed in your culture for a man and woman to meet before marriage. Very important. How do you get a visa? The first step is filing the petition. Your U.S. fiancé must file the Form I-129F, which is the petition for the alien fiancé, with the USCIS office in his or her state. Note that Form I-129F cannot be filed at a U.S. embassy or consulate or USCIS office in your country. It must be done in the U.S. After the U.S. government approves the petition, it is sent to the National Visa Center. The National Visa Center will give you a case number and send your petition to the U.S. Embassy or consulate in your country. The second step is applying for the visa itself. The National Visa Center will mail your fiancé a letter when it sends your case to the U.S. Embassy in your country. Once your fiancé receives this letter, he or she will inform you to take the following actions to apply for the K-1 visa and prepare for the interview. All these things you need to follow and do them rightly so that you don't miss any step. You need to put together the required documentation. It's very important. You and the eligible children applying for the K-2 visas will be required to bring the following forms and documents to the visa interview. You need to have a completed form DS-160, online immigrant visa application. These documents, you and your children applying for the K-1 and the K-2 visa, must one complete that form, the DS-160, and print the DS-160 confirmation page to bring to the interview with you. A passport valid for travel to the United States and with a validity date at least 6 months beyond your intended period of stay in the US, unless there is an applicable exemption. You need to have your birth certificate. You need to have your divorce or death certificate of any previous spouses for both you and your US citizen sponsor. That is, if they apply to you. Police certificates from your present country of residence and all countries where you have lived for 6 months or more since the age of 60. Police certificates are required for accompanying children to age 16 or older. You also need your medical examination, including vaccinations. At times, the vaccinations are exempted, but it is good to have all of them. Evidence of financial support may be requested. It depends the circumstance. 2 passport size photographs, you need them. Evidence of relationship with your US citizen fiancé, which could be anything, pictures showing you together, emails, text messages, etc. Anything that can prove that the two of you are in relationship is required. And then you pay the fees. Note that documents in foreign languages other than the language of the country in which the application takes place should be translated. If it is not in English, it needs to be translated into English. Applicants should take to the visa interview clear, eligible photocopies of civil documents and translations, such as birth and divorce certificates. Original documents and translations will be returned to you after the interview. If this video has been helpful, please follow, share, like, and comment. And invite more people to be part of this movement. A family or a network or a community that we want to make sure that you can travel to the United States on your own without going to pay anybody any monies. So if you love it, let us meet in the next video. See you.